Thank you for tuning in.
I'm Megumi Yamamoto.
I'm Rachel Wang, and we're presenting Life as an Asian American. While many Asian Americans are living the American dream today, the efforts and contributions that they made were not painless. Asian Americans had to face many hardships in America, including discrimination, which is evident with Angel Island. However, some Asian Americans have reported that they have not been discriminated before and are also living the American dream. Some Asian Americans describe Americans as extremely helpful people who helped them navigate a new life, culture, and language when they first immigrated to the United States. While the tough past of many Asian Americans certainly cannot be ignored, let us explore the different successes, struggles, and stories that make up what it means to be American for various Asian Americans.
In a survey conducted for the National Public Radio, around 1 out of 4 Asian Americans report facing discrimination because of their race in the work field or when they try to buy housing.
One time I was just out at Target with my sister and she was driving, but we were trying to get a spot, and so we were waiting for another car to back out, and then I guess because we were in the way of another older white couple, they were upset, and so they drove past us and rolled down the window, and then they said, "Drive American."
I lived in one city in the U.S., which is Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is a very multicultural, very diverse in race, ethnicity, cultural background, and I do not feel much of a discrimination in California, but I'm not sure I can speak for other places.
In a survey conducted by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, nearly 1 out of 5 low-income Asians avoid medical care due to concern that they will be discriminated because of their race. While we do want to understand the insecurities that Asian Americans may have, we want to understand them from the perspectives of Asian Americans from different backgrounds. Let's take a look.
I feel a lot of strength, kind of knowing where I come from and sort of knowing, what my parents and sort of what a lot of our sort of cultures have brought to us.
No, never been in my mind. According to the Washington Post, open quote, at the outset of the 20th century, Asian Americans had often been portrayed as threatening, exotic, and degenerate. But by the 50s and 60s, the idea of the model minority had begun to take root. Newspapers often glorified Asian Americans as industrious, law-abiding citizens who kept their head down and never complained, end quote. However, Asian Americans are not always law-abiding individuals who live without any complaints, especially when they feel that their rights as an American citizen are not being granted to them. For example, with the 1974 Supreme Court case called Lau versus Nichols, Chinese students in the San Francisco Unified School District who did not speak fluent English were placed in English classes that did not consider the students' level of English proficiency. Therefore, students kept receiving bad grades and found themselves unable to improve their English proficiency and continued being stuck in a cycle of trying to learn English in an English class that did not offer them the additional help that they needed. One of these students, Lau, and his parents decided to take action, and many of the Chinese students filed a lawsuit that eventually ended up in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court determined that this did not adhere to the rights granted by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This decision was a major stepping stone in improving American bilingual education, and a modern example could be the ELD or English Language Development programs that are now offered at many American public schools.
Expressions of anger from people who don't have power, especially if their anger is about the ways in which they are disempowered, then that anger is heard as irrational, unserious, infantile, unhinged, crazy, hysterical. And so it's discouraged. And there's a sense that many of us absorb that we're not supposed to be angry if we want to say something out of anger. Even if that anger, especially if that anger is valid, righteous, based in fact, that it will be heard as irrational and therefore undermine the very point we want to make.
With that being said, let's find out what some Asian Americans have to say about Asian American stereotypes.
So people feel that the Asian Americans really treasure their ancestry, and they work really hard, and they put a lot of emphasis on academics and on education.
Asians in general are studious, they're quiet, they like to just focus and do their work.
You know, teaching is a cultural activity. Education is a cultural activity. And it struck me, being an American in China, that the Chinese very much look at schooling as a way to shape a proper Chinese citizen. And it's all really about the collective, what's good for the classroom, what's good for the school, and what's good for the country by extension. And what we in America do so well is the value of the individual.
Thank you for your time, and we hope you enjoyed this video and learned more about life as an Asian American.